Welcome back to The Rundown. Tomorrow marks the 50th anniversary of the outbreak of the Yom Kippur War. That conflict saw many outstanding examples of heroism by Israeli soldiers, but perhaps none more celebrated than that of Avigdor Kahalani, who was commander of the 77th Armored Battalion, rallied his badly outnumbered tank crews against much larger Syrian forces on the Golan Heights, winning the day against overwhelming odds. Years after that, he fought again to save the Golan, this time in the political arena as founder of the Third Way Party, advocating against its return to Syria in a peace deal. He joined me earlier in studio to discuss both of those battles. Avigdor Kahalani, thank you for joining us on I-24 News.
You're welcome.
I don't know if you've seen the new movie Golda, but there has a scene, they recreate the famous scene where Moshe Dayan is flying over the Golan Heights and he sees that terrible scene below of the Syrian tanks breaking through the Israeli lines, and it breaks him. You were down there in that hellhole.
Yeah.
How did you feel? We know what you did, but how did you feel? Like Moshe Dayan, did you have any fear that this could be the end of Israel?
No, of course not. When you drive, you hold the wheel and you control whatever is going on. When you're in the tank, you feel better than the leaders behind you. And this is the reason that Moshe Dayan, he saw the map and he saw what happened and knew all the facts. But when you are in the combat, when your soldiers around you and your tanks with you, and this is the better feeling. And I didn't feel that it's going to be a disaster.
Hopeless. I mean, Moshe Dayan thought your situation was hopeless.
But it was almost disaster. But I was, at that time when I was in the Valley of the Tears, I controlled what happened there. And I had the feeling that there is a chance that we will win. And I know, I saw the ratio, 1 Israeli tank against 10. But my feeling that I trust my soldiers, I trust our commanders around me, I trust the crew, and my feeling was that there is a chance that we will win.
Now, I grew up in America. I know what battles like George Washington at Valley Forge, during the Civil War, Gettysburg, that battle has become iconic for Israelis. Many see it as its greatest victory against the odds, but there are, in more recent years especially, some people see it more like a tragic lens, as you say, the Valley of Tears. How should Israelis today see that battle? What should be the meaning of it for them?
I tell you, we fought for 4 days, and we lost 2/3 of the Golan Heights in the first day. We didn't see any aircraft protect us, no umbrella from them. Artillery shell was thousands of thousands falling all over. And all the Golan Heights was invaded by the Syrian already. And it was a moment that I knew that the Assad forces coming from Damascus, and the mission was to accomplish the mission and to finish the area that we've been there. And I knew that. Behind me, nobody was there. And they came with helicopters, and they landed behind me with a commando, and they closed the main road. No casualty evacuated to hospital, no ammunition, no gas anymore, tank Israeli running away. And this was the feeling that we are going to lose. But like battalion commander at that time, I got the feeling that maybe I will win, and there is a chance that I will win. But when you sit in Tel Aviv and you see the map and you read about what happened in the combat in the Golan Heights, this is the feeling what Moshe Dayan has felt at that time. It may be true from his position,
right,
but it's not true from my position.
Right. No one can argue that was a great victory that you won there on the Golan Heights. But about the Yom Kippur War itself, there's still an argument. We see that in that movie, Golda. Was it a victory for Israel? Was it a sort of defeat for Israel, puncturing its invincibility? Now, 50 years later, how do you think we should see the war as a whole?
I tell you, I fought in the 67 war. I was the first Israeli crossing the border.
Right.
I changed three
In the
times.
Sinai, you should say,
in Sinai.
Yeah.
And you know what is the famous picture from 67? Boots on the dune. Many, many shoes, boots on the
Right.
dune. And they start to run away from us. When our leaders here in Tel Aviv had to make the decision and had to do one decision to start mobilization, and they didn't start. And the picture from 67 was in their face and said, we strong enough, we can beat them, and we don't need to start the mobilization. Maybe we can do it in the last moment. But I tell you, we are in Israel. To call to the God is a local call. Yeah. And Israel, if they started in Rosh Hashanah, it's 4 days vacation, and all the people was around the country with a barbecue. Think about that. And the God decided to start the war in Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is the best day for mobilization. My father and my brother was in the synagogue, and after 6 hours, they've been in their tanks immediately. And Yom Kippur War started in 67. You should know that. And the feeling from 67 is this is the reason maybe the Golda didn't make the decision to start mobilization, and she stopped the Air Force to attack before the war started. And she stopped. Maybe she's scared from the American at that time, or maybe she's scared from an election.
Or
it was a month after that. And many, many reasons. To be a politician is completely different than to be a soldier and a general in Israel.
Well, you would know, because some would argue you saved the Golan on the battlefield, and then you fought another fight for the Golan as a politician when you founded the Third Way Party, at the time trying not to see the Golan be given back to the Syrians. Now it's some 25 years later. People don't even talk about that. And of course, the U.S. have recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan. Do you feel you won that battle? Is that battle over? Or do you think that battle is still going on, whether Israel will keep the Golan?
Depends who is the prime minister.
Yeah.
Even when I was the minister of the public security, interior security, and I listened to the voice around Bibi, and he started to negotiate with the Syrian, even that. I was in the Labour Party, and when Rabin decided to start to negotiate about the Golan Heights, I got the feeling that he's going to withdraw. And I talked with him like I'm talking to you now, and I say, I'm not going to stay with you. He said, no, he tried to convince me. And I said, no. And I left the Labour Party, and they didn't have majority.
For strategic reasons, or did you feel too many of your colleagues gave their lives for it to be given up?
But to think from the position of a prime minister is different than the Knesset member. And I said, I'm going to leave you, and I left. I left it and I built my party.
Right.
And he didn't have the majority to make the decision in the Knesset. And this is the reason that we have the Golan Heights again, like you said.
Right, but do you think it's now secure? Israel will keep the Golan, or there's a possibility?
My feeling now, it's nobody even will think to withdraw from even the left wing. We are going to stay in the Golan Heights. This is my feeling. But I don't know about what it's going to be now. I'm not
sure. I understand.
Yeah, but this is my feeling. No, now it's quiet in the Golan Heights because the Syrians, they have so many problems.
Right.
And we build many villages and kibbutzim, and we can protect ourselves without any problem.
Right. Now, this 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War is falling at a period of deep division in Israel, and people are drawing parallels to that. We've seen the army, Tzahal, becoming involved in political debates. How do you feel about that? And maybe there's a message from the Yom Kippur War about Israeli unity and dealing with crisis that is somehow applicable to the political divisions and debates we're seeing in the country now.
I know. I can see everything. Look, something happened in our country. And some people from the reserve, they said, we are volunteer and we are not ready to volunteer anymore to serve in the army. I'm very angry about that. I'm very sad about it. And I think that those people doesn't have the right to do it. And we have to protect our country. I don't care which kind of government we have. You can change the government. This is a democracy, and you can change. Go to the vote, build a new party, and beat the government. But to make decision that I'm not going to be involved in the next war, it's make me crazy, in my opinion. We fought for those people to be born here in our country. And you can see the cemetery in our country, how many thousands of people they under the stone. And those people fought for those people to be born here. And they have to protect the country. To see army involved with the political situation, this is a disaster for our country, I think. And we have to stop them, of course.
Thank you. From the Valley of Tears to our studio, thank you for joining us on I-24 News.
You're welcome.
And if you want more great content like that from I-24 News, just hit the subscribe button. It's as easy as that.